Welcome to Flickering Myth Gaming's 7-Day Replay. I'm your host, Gerald James, and we've got some catching up to do. First up, we've got our first trailer for the Uncharted movie from Sony's PlayStation Studios. I believe this is the first thing they're doing with it. It's, this movie, I'll be the first to say everyone online is crying and complaining about it, and I get where you're coming from, internet denizens. But let's be honest here. This was never going to be great, and the best we can hope for is it's okay. And I think that's what we got from this, right? Like, Tom Holland is not Nathan Drake, but I wouldn't want to see Nathan Fillion in the role either.
I don't want to see Nathan Fillion in anything.
I mean, he ain't that bad.
He's a charisma vacuum.
But I'll be honest, like, I had someone make me watch a few episodes of Supernatural, and that one guy that's, like, just a more charismatic Nathan Fillion, he should have been playing the role. I don't know what character he plays. It's either Sam or Dean. It's one of those guys. But he should have been in the role of Nathan Drake. And Mark Wahlberg as Sully is probably the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
I don't know this character. I don't know these games. Stop putting Mark Wahlberg in things.
We're kind of past Mark Wahlberg now. Like, if you need to hire a Wahlberg, grab Donnie. Up next, as we seem to do every episode, we've got some delays to discuss. This one, well, Elden Ring. Elden Ring was delayed. It was coming out in early to mid-January, and it got delayed to February 24th? 25th. February 25th is when we're getting Elden Ring. Now, it's only a month. It's not the end of the world. Of course, you know, some people feel that way. But the main reason I'm bringing this up is because I told you February was stacked. I'm not saying I knew this was going to come beforehand, but my God, February needs to slow the hell down with this. This is coming out the same day as Saints Row. I'm saying that now so you can go back and watch this later and be like, no, it's not, because Saints Row is going to be delayed. Saints Row is going to get pushed. It's not going head-to-head with Elden Ring.
No.
That's a freaking juggernaut. You stand no chance with your Instagram teen reboot of a gangster game. Sorry. Something else that I guess you'd call it delayed. They never gave us a hard date. They just said it was coming this year, and, well, it's not. The next-gen versions of The Witcher 3. We're supposed to get the next-gen versions of that and Cyberpunk this year. And this isn't that big of a deal. Everything's getting delayed. Like, I'm understanding of all the delays happening in the world. The world's weird right now, y'all. But the reason why I think this is really an interesting topic is the fact that we've seen that the Witcher 3's PS5 and Xbox versions have been rated in Europe. It's ready to go. They're good, but they pushed it to Q2 2022 and gave a date of Q1 2022 for Cyberpunk 2077's next-gen release. That is... Okay, let's be honest here. This is literally CD Projekt Red trying to make sure that they can say that they're following up on their Cyberpunk promise. Because if The Witcher 3's next-gen update came out before Cyberpunk was, playable, the world would have them by the balls.
It'd be pushback.
A lot of the old pushback. I don't blame them, but at the same time, I've given up on Cyberpunk. I just want this next-gen version of The Witcher 3 because that's still one of my favorite games, even though this company has tarnished their reputation so freaking poorly. And lastly, we're going to talk about two game companies being absolute dipshits. First up, Square Enix. Like, these used to be the good guys. These used to be the people that would say, you know what, at least they're not on par with EA or Activision. And in some ways, they're still not. But let's talk about Avengers here for a second. A game that we've lambasted enough on this show, and with good reason. They recently decided to make it a grindier game. They came out and said that the player base wanted more to push towards. They they were getting through content too quickly and becoming bored. So they made the grind longer. They even went out of their way to say, hey guys, this is when we're going to be making it grindier, so you might as well go ahead and gear up now. Which is a weird way to do things. If you're saying that you're doing this for the player base and then give them a heads up so that you can try to rush them to play more before that grind is put into effect, you're already pretty much saying, hey, we just want more people playing this right now. But when this happened, they're like, no, we're not doing this so we could charge you for XP. Guess what? They did. They're now selling XP boosts after they made the game grindier. These are accountants behind the scenes that are trying to figure out the best way to squeeze more juice out of this frail turnip. Turnip juice. People love it.
Okay.
It's a terrible look. They've killed all goodwill that they've ever had as a company with me. I'm no longer excited for games like Forspoken or Final Fantasy 16 because Square Enix has become one of the worst companies as far as just taking advantage of their player base, and it's kind of garbage. But hey, at least we've got fun little independent studios like Bungie out there who's still, listening to their player base, right? Yeah, no. It came out that with the new Witch Queen expansion, there's going to be 2 dungeons that are locked behind the deluxe edition of this expansion. So you're charging $40 for an expansion, which is fine. You only release them annually now, plus seasons, but that's neither here nor there. And then to come out and say, no, you have to give us an extra $20 to be able to play these 2 dungeons. That's a pretty big gating. It's gating off content behind the paywall on top of everything else. Plus, they've had their issues with sunsetting where they're like, hey, this equipment you've had before you can't use anymore. Got to use the new stuff if you want to play the game. So,
That's bizarre.
Bungie is, yet again, I understand they only make one game, right? This is all they do, is Destiny. But just be happy with the $40 plus season pass that you're getting every year, man. Like, this is complete bullshit that you're going to gate this off behind an extra $20 and then say, nope, you'll never be able to access it unless you pay more. And they have said you'll be able to access it without buying that edition, but you'd still have to pay for those dungeons. So you might as well pony up the money now instead of waiting until later. These companies, Square Enix, Bungie, and others, are taking the fun out of gaming. It's all about how much money they can make off of the player. And I understand, it's a business. It's a business. At the end of the day, it's a business. Even filmmakers are like, how can we make this appeal to a wider audience so we can get butts in seats? But try to get more people to play your game, not try to get the ones you've already got to pay more. This isn't the way to go about things. And quite honestly, it's going to drive me to be indie only. Which, I mean, I can't say that. Bungie's technically indie, right?
I guess.
Just chill out, guys. Alright, now that I've calmed myself down a little bit, let's talk about some upcoming games. First, from the bullshit company Square Enix, we've got Guardians of the Galaxy, coming to everything with buttons on a controller. This game looks like crap, don't buy it, just being honest. Also, that same day, we've got Darkest Dungeon 2 coming to PC. This is a roguelike dungeon crawler. I enjoyed the first one. I played it on PlayStation, and it's hard as hell. So, if you're into that, check it out. On the 28th, we've got 2 games coming out. First being Fatal Frame, Made in Blackwater, coming out to pretty much everything again, surprisingly, because it maybe still co-owned by Nintendo?
Maybe.
Who knows? It's still craziness. I'm buying it on PS5, but I swear it was still owned by Nintendo. And lastly, we've got Riders Republic This is the extreme sports game from Ubisoft where they're trying to squeeze just a little bit more life out of that Steep engine that they put so much money into.
Looks like it could be fun.
Looks can be deceiving. And lastly, because I like to send the kids home happy, I've got a suggestion for you all. We're quickly coming up on Halloween.
Yes, we are.
This is the second most commercial holiday in America, and everyone loves it. Everyone loves Halloween.
Sure.
So, I've got a spooky game to recommend. Of course, I just talked about for Fatal Frame, Made in Blackwater, which I'm going to be playing around that time. But, the best spooky game of all time, Silent Hill 2. It's a PlayStation 2 game for sure. It's also on Xbox, but it's also on PC. It's hard to get. You can't buy it physically, and it's not available on Steam or Good Old Games. On PC. There, I said it. Or if you're really hard up for some Silent Hill 2, play it on the HD collection. It's better than no Silent Hill 2. I'll just say that. It's one of my favorite games of all time. It's scary in a psychological trauma kind of way, not a first person run around and jump scares go bah at you kind of way. So that's why it's probably my favorite horror game, our favorite game of all time. Check it out and let me know if you like it in the comments below. Thanks for watching, guys. Sorry for the absence, but I'm glad we're all back together. Stay tuned here at Flickering Myth for more news and opinions on gaming and movies. And I'll see you next time.